Welcome to this video tutorial for the Rose Cottage Square. I'm making this blanket for my daughter who's leaving university soon, and I'm using this lovely merino wool yarn. I'll put a link in the description below. And here's the square, so pretty. And for the sake of the video, so that I can be a bit more, let's get that out of the way, a bit more robust, I'm going to be using DK acrylic Style Craft Special DK in colour 1834. So we're going to get on with it, straight on with it. I'm going to make a double magic circle. I've chained one and then pull the tail out. Make sure you yarn, you make your stitches over all three loops, all three pieces of yarn, yeah? So round one is 8 stitches. It's 8 US singles, UK doubles. So we're just going to go straight into that magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to pull the circle tight. So I'm going to pull on the tail end, see which loop tightens first and pull that loop. Make sure you don't get your acrylic stuck or your yarn. If you are using like a softer, more delicate yarn, take care with this part. Kind of tease the yarn rather than yank it, yeah? Pull that tight. And then we're just going to slip stitch across to finish that round. So there's round one, 8 US singles, UK doubles. Round two, we're going to go in each stitch twice with a US double, UK treble. So that will be 16 stitches altogether. So I'm going to chain one to make my starting stitch. I'm going to make a US single, UK double, and then chain one. And that's going to be my starting US double, UK treble. So I'm going to make my second stitch in there. And then 2 stitches in the next stitch. That's US doubles, UK trebles. And that's your repeat. Just going to get some more yarn. So I think I'm at my last stitch. I'm going to make 2 in there. And then I'm going to count my stitches before joining up. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I'm going to slip stitch straight across over the top of that starting stitch. Yeah, so that's round 2, 16 stitches. So in round 3, we're going to start using some chain spaces to make the gaps. So we're going to make the corner first. We're going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles, then we're going to chain 2 and we're going to make 2 more stitches into the same stitch. So there'll be 4 stitches all together. And I'm going to start, because this is the first one, I'm not going to make the 2 stitches, I'm just going to make the first one. So I'm going to do a US single, UK double, chain 1 for my starting stitch, then I'm going to make the corner, so I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to make 2 more stitches in there. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and go into the 4th stitch. And we're going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles, chain 2, and then 2 more stitches in there. We're then going to chain 3, skip 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3, and we're in the next corner. So we're going to do 2 stitches, US doubles, UK trebles, chain 2, and then 2 more stitches into that corner. Chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the next corner. So we do 2 stitches, chain 2, and 2 more stitches into that corner, into that same stitch, 1 and 2. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, just get some more yarn, and we're going to skip those 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're in the first corner that we started. So we're just going to do that first stitch of the corner. Whoops. And then we'll just slip stitch straight into the corner space to join, and that's the end of round 3. So you should have 16 stitches and 8 spaces, including the corner spaces. So round 4, we're going to make the corner again, the same as we did in the last round. So we're going to chain 1, we're then going to make a US single, UK double, chain 1, we're then going to make the corner, chain 2, and we're going to make 2 stitches in there, US doubles, UK trebles, 1 and 2. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into that chain space. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're into the second corner. So we're going to 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. So that's 1 and 2, chain 2, and 2 stitches. 1 and 2. So the corners are 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. We then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the chain 3 space from round 3, and then chain 3, and we're into the next corner. 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. After the corner, we're going to chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3. be back at the next corner. Into the corner, 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. There we go, get a bit more slack on the yarn. After the corner, we do 3 stitches, slip stitch, 3 stitches. And we're back to the start. So we're going to make that first stitch at the corner and then slip stitch into that corner. And that's the end of round 1, 2, 3, 4. So at the end of round 4, you should have 16 stitches, 4 slip stitches and 12 chain spaces, including the corners. So coming into round 5, we're going to start the corner exactly the same as we did the others. So we're going to chain 1, we're going to make a US single, UK double, chain 1, then chain 2, and make 2 stitches. We're now going to stitch across the top of those 2 stitches. So we're going to go into each one with a US double, UK treble. And then we're going to make 2 stitches in that chain space. So there'll be 6 stitches there altogether from that corner space along this edge. You ignore that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're then going to chain 1 and we're going to do 2 stitches in the chain space. We're going to go into each of those stitches. And then we're at the corner. So we're going to do 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. And that's your repeat. So after your corner, going into each stitch, two stitches into the chain space, chain 1, 2 stitches into the chain space, into each stitch, so that's 2 more stitches, and then we're back at the corner. So 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. Into the chain space, 2 stitches, chain 1, and back into the other chain space with 2 stitches, into each stitch, and we're back at the corner. So 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. Let me just get some more slack. So yeah, chain 2, and 2 stitches. Into each stitch. Two stitches in the chain space. Chain 1 and 2 stitches in the next chain space. Into each stitch. So that last stitch will actually be the slip stitch from the join in the row before. We're then going to go make, so we're back at the start, we're going to make one more stitch in that corner and then slip stitch straight across into the corner, and that's the end of round 5. So you should have 48 stitches and then 8 chain spaces including the corners. So for round 6 we're going to be doing, instead of using these US doubles, UK trebles, we're going to be using US singles, UK doubles. So we're going to start in the corner. Yeah, we're going to chain 1 and then go straight in and make a US single, UK double. We're going to chain 2 and then make one more stitch in the corner. We're then going to go across the top of all the stitches and 1 stitch in that chain space. Yeah, so your corners are 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch, and then 1 stitch across the top. So when you get to the chain space, just make 1 stitch in there and then into the next set of stitches and all the way around to the end. Remember, 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch for the corners. And then we're back to the beginning, and we've already made that corner stitch, so I'm just going to slip stitch straight across. And that's the end of round 6. Yeah, and we should have 60 stitches in total. So round 7, we're going to go back to the US doubles, UK trebles, and we're going to go along in each stitch, and then the corners will have 2 stitches, chain 2, 2 stitches. Yeah, so I'm going to start that second stitch at the corner. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to do a US single, UK double in the corner, and then chain 1. I'm going to make the corner, chain 2, and then do the 2 stitches in there. Oops. So 1 and 2, and then we're going to go across the top of each stitch with a US double, UK treble. So I'm just at the coming up to the end of round 7, and I've just done 1 stitch in the corner, so we've got another stitch to go, and then we're just going to slip stitch straight into the corner, and there's round 7. Yeah. So round 8, sorry, in round 8 we're going back to the US singles, UK doubles, and we're going to go around in each stitch and then 1 stitch in the corner, chain 2, 1 stitch, and there'll be a total of, so in this round 7, there's 76 stitches, and in round 8 there'll be 84 stitches. So I'm going to start off making that corner, chain 1, then a US single, UK double, chain 2, 1 more stitch in the corner, and then we're going to go across the top of every stitch. When we get to the next corner, we'll do 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch. So at my first corner, 1 stitch, chain 2, turn around and 1 stitch, and then we'll stitch all the way along the edge, and same thing when you get to the next corner, and I'll see you at the back at the end. So I'm just coming back to the beginning, just making those last few stitches in there, and then we've already made that first stitch, so we're just going to slip stitch straight in, and there we go, we've finished. And that's the end of round 8, and you should have 84 stitches. Oops, 84 stitches in total. And I'll see you in the next video, where I'm hoping to make this lacy lily bud square